And check out the RCWR Show with Lee Sanders. Get fun, in-depth coverage and analysis from the latest in professional wrestling in AEW, WWE, NWA, Impact Wrestling, or the world of entertainment. From hit TV shows to your favorite sports like the NBA or NFL. All things music, movies, and beyond, while trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. All while keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive since 2011. And now your host, live from the nation's capital of Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, good morning, everybody, for this Wednesday of August 6, 2025. Ooh, yes, it's early morning over here. I'm kicking back. I'm minding my own damn business. I'm trying to order my damn textbooks, making a few calls and emails, get ready for this damn upcoming fall transfer semester. And I see this breaking news. I'm like, whoa. So for those of you that's not aware, and or maybe you just want to hear my reactions to this, I do have a marketing background and everything, right? And I'm always talking about business and business analytics and everything. Big news, probably bad news if you are a WWE fan or love all things wrestling. Disney is dropping $1.6 billion to lock in the WWE streaming rights. You have heard me right. Disney, the mighty mouse, Mickey Mouse, $1.6 billion to lock in the WWE streaming rights. So what does that mean for you? What that means for you is starting in early 2026, first quarter of 2026. What that means for you is exclusively within the United States. So this definitely affects North American audiences here. Yeah, through ESPN, Disney's own turf. This deal is going to be running for 5 years, with Disney shelling out, get this, $325 million annually to make this happen. So that's how eventually they're going to get up to the $1.6 billion. I didn't say million, I said billion. So these events will become part of ESPN's upcoming streaming platform, which is set to roll out later this year with a $29.99 monthly price tag. That is what is going on. You know, I think back to a panel that I did. There's two that kind of come to mind right now, but it was really the very first panel that I did at AwesomeCon with the wife, and we were talking about media consumption, the digital age, and how it was impacting everything, and how it would continue to impact how we consume media. And this was fresh after all the COVID stuff had happened, so we were still kind of reeling from that. But this aligns with what I was talking about so many years ago. I know a lot of people are upset at this deal, and you have every right to be upset at this deal. You really do. But history has shown time and time again that WWE, they pretty much are going to be rolling like this. Now, of course, we're not really that, what's the right word that I'm looking for? I don't want to say naive, because that's too strong of a word, but as a wrestling community, we're well aware that WWE, they've pretty much done this type of stuff before. You think back to how it was back in the 90s, going into the early 2000s, when WWE was having their relationships with different cable and satellite providers. Remember those days? If you do remember those days, oof. Okay. I mean, we had it pretty good because we pretty much were able to opt in for about 10, 20, maybe 15 bucks or whatever, and we could access whatever exclusive stuff. I know for me, I had Comcast, so it used to be a joy when I was able to check out Legends of the Wrestling Roundtable, hosted by Jim Ross and a few other wrestling figureheads and all that. Some really good stuff. WWE classics or WWF classics. I mean, we had it pretty good. But WWE was not feeling the split back then. It was, in some cases, a 50-50 split, and they had always wanted to venture off and go do something else. And then the game really changed going back to February of 2014. And remember, that deal lasted until 2021. Of course, I'm talking about the WWE network. Oh, didn't we have it so good? When I read this piece of news today, I couldn't help but think of the Michael Bolton song, "How Am I Supposed to Live Without You?" Look it up. It's hilarious, especially just looking at the guy with the mullet, long hair, and everything weird going on in the front. Just check it out. You'll have a hearty laugh, and you'll thank me later. But we had it so good, didn't we? From 2014 to 2021, I remember talking about how much of a game changer that was when it was first announced, and how wrestling fans as a community, we could rejoice because now we were getting everything that we wanted directly from the company. Oh, right. We were getting everything directly from the company, and it was worth dropping whatever amount. At that time, it was $9.99, but it was worth dropping it because we would finally, we would be able to support our WWE fandom. Finally, we would be able to access libraries that had been long not fully accessible. Finally, we would be able to access matches that if we tried to look for them on YouTube within the years leading up to the WWE Network launch, well, WWE was starting to flag and pull those joints down on platforms like YouTube, Daily Motion. They were even eventually starting to come after, you name it. And we had it so good. But then think about the Peacock deal. Not for nothing, but we had the Peacock deal, which ran from, if I'm not mistaken, that Peacock deal was 2021. And now that Peacock deal is going to be expiring first quarter of 2026. And that deal was for $1.6 billion. Now, I've brought this up many times on the shows, and you all can let me know if you're in the same boat I'm in. But I have always said when it came to the Peacock deal, look, if I'm not watching a WWE premium event, I'm not watching it. Which in my case, in my household, that sucks because I am a huge fan of Christopher Maloney. I first came across the actor's work way back when he was doing that TV show Oz. Remember that? Remember Oz on HBO? Oh my God. I've been a fan of his work since then. I bring him up because he's on this new show, or has been on this new show, Law and Order Organized Crime. And I believe it was last year, Organized Crime had moved to Peacock. And my family was like, well, Lee, I guess we're going to be watching a lot more Peacock now, because I guess we're going to be seeing a lot more cock because, you got to watch your Organized Crime. And it was a case of, yeah, I guess so. I've yet to watch any of the new Organized Crime. I literally have my Peacock subscription just so I can watch the WWE PLEs, and then I dip. Although I will admit, I did watch the mini series. I think it was on Peacock. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, what was the joint with all the what was the joint with all the black people? They reunited. Oh my God, it was a movie. It's not a Tyler Perry thing. Go. It's gonna see. Forgive me, guys. That's gonna mess my head up. But they did like a little mini series. They brought all these characters back, and matter of fact, the black dude that was in the wheelchair on Oz, he came back for this. Whole bunch of black dudes. They were best friends, and they've been following each other for years. They all got married. Some of them got girlfriends. I can't think of the name of it. Sorry about that, guys. But beyond that, I'm not doing anything with Peacock. So I would like to believe that's probably a lot of you guys that's out there. A lot of you are probably in that same boat. So now we get this deal. Now, for those of you that's kind of panicking a little bit, you're trying to get the skinny on what exactly does this mean. Let me just dive into that a little bit more. So first off, let's take care of a lot of the confusion that's out there, because right now I'm seeing just a lot of copying and pasting. This is critical information I want to give you guys. For those of you thinking, oh, okay, so basically this deal, ESPN Plus. No, no. No, not ESPN Plus. No, this is for a new ESPN streaming service. I don't know if this is accurate, but from what I was seeing online in the research that I just wrapped up, I'm seeing that this new ESPN is supposed to be launching later this year. More specifically, I actually saw a launch date of August 21st. It's looking like this new ESPN streaming service. It's supposed to be launching August of 2025, August 21st, 2025. Now, remember, ESPN Plus, that launched in 2018. And what's currently going on with that ESPN Plus, as far as the content goes, it selects sports, replays, UFC events. Meanwhile, this new ESPN streaming service, basically a direct to consumer type of service of live events and all that. From what's going down, this will consist of live ESPN channels, ESPN, ESPN2, and major sports, including WWE PLEs. Now, the price point is where a lot of people get lost, and I would not blame y'all. The ESPN Plus, that's $10.99 a month. This new ESPN streaming service launching August 21st, 2025, that's going to be a hefty price tag of $29.99. Now, for those of you that's like, what about the bundles? Okay, so as we know, ESPN Plus often bundled with Hulu, Disney Plus. Y'all know about that. With this new one, it's expected to be part of Disney's mega bundle, but everything's still a little bit vague. Pretty sure as we get closer, we're going to learn more and more information about that. But this new ESPN streaming service will definitely be the exclusive home for all WWE PLEs starting in 2026. So again, the new WWE home, it's not ESPN Plus, but a new ESPN streaming service. Very, very important context, because I'm already seeing that there's a lot of people that's getting that mixed up and everything. So kind of want to clean that up a little bit, y'all. Like, make sure if you're gonna be talking about this, make sure you put that very, very strong distinction that's out there and everything. So all WWE premium live events, including WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, Money in the Bank, and others, they're going to be streaming exclusively on ESPN's new direct-to-consumer service. However, select marquee events will be simulcasting on ESPN's linear cable channel. So ESPN, ESPN2. So maybe it's possible you might get an NXT takeover from time to time, or maybe you might get a WWE Clash at Paris or whatever. That's also possible as well. TKO broke this news earlier today, because this news basically had went down within the last 90 minutes. So that is where we stand right now with this deal. And this is a huge, here's why it matters. Because a lot of you guys are probably like, why does this matter? Why should I care? And this is a huge shift from Peacock, which impacts subscriptions on so many levels. And at the same time, it definitely broadens ESPN's building strategy, right? Think about it for a second. With Peacock, all you had to do was pay your little measly $7, $8, $9 a month. And not only did you get access to WWE PLEs, but you also got access to any movies, little TV shows. I know some of you guys ended up doing that with Peacock. And then a lot of you all were actually able to get the hookup for Peacock for free. I know in my case, a couple of years back, when I upgraded my iPhone, I actually was able to get, and I still have it free to this very day, because I think I've now had this latest iPhone for 2 years now, or at least a year and a half. I've had this phone now. I've been able to watch Peacock for free. So I know a lot of you guys, you're aware of those little phone bundle deals whenever you upgrade, get new service or whatever. They usually give you some type of a bundled unlimited service deal. Hey, you get Netflix and all that other good stuff. In my case, I remember specifically, I ended up getting Netflix for free and I got Peacock for free as a result of upgrading. True story. So you're not really spending that much. You haven't been these past couple of years, right? If you had got that hookup or you decided to come up out of your pocket, right? And so very affordable, very manageable, especially in this day and age when you're paying the 14, 15, 16, 17, maybe almost $20 for your Spotify. Okay. Then you're paying what you're paying for your cell phone service. You're paying what you're paying for your internet. You're paying what you're paying for your access to, maybe you're doing microtransactions for your favorite mobile app game. Okay, so you definitely got to make sure that you factor that in. Your Prime Video subscription. Maybe you got a subscription to Stars. Maybe you got that subscription to Paramount Plus, HBO Max. A lot of people, Apple Plus, Apple TV. A lot of people are all over the place with their subscriptions, to the point that if you actually sat down and really looked at how much money you're putting out there for those subscriptions, your mouth will probably drop and you'll be like, wait, I'm losing that much every single month? Are you serious? So to have this shift, it is a huge, huge shift, because it's a monumental shift, because now that means for a lot of you guys, wow, I now have to reshuffle, reallocate money from these streaming apps that I'm already paying for. Now I got to try to figure out of those apps what I don't really need, so I can go on ahead and make sure that I'm going to be good whenever this new streaming service drops. Okay. This is right. I, this is going to revert back to, let me tell you something. If you were to ask me, just with no bullshit, Lee, let me just ask you straight up, dog. From everything that you've seen when you've been working in market research and all that, from a business standpoint, do you see this being bad or good for WWE and all that? Like, is this a major blow where it's going to come back to bite them in the ass? Short term, yes. Long term, no. Now, what do I mean by that? Because I'm sounding like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, right? Here's what I mean by that. Basically, it's going to be off to a slow, sluggish start. I personally feel it's going to take them a couple of quarters to rebound. It's going to take them a couple of quarters to rebound. But I think in about 3 years' time, they pretty much are going to be wherever they're at right now. They will basically be up to that point, and they'll be showing that they're continuing to gain. That's what I think is ultimately going to happen. But I definitely believe that for the first year to year and a half, I feel there's going to be a bit of a struggle. I tell you what, the 29.99 price tag, that is not good. That is not good. If I'm able to pick the brains of the marketing team, I'm saying to them, look, with the holidays right around the corner, like literally the major holidays right around the corner, if there was ever a time to give a special discount, like this is that time to do it. If you want to say, hey, look, after the holidays going into 2026, we're going to just the regular 29.99, like that is in effect, like no more breaks. I can understand that. I can definitely understand that. But going into the major holiday season, they need to slash that. I truly believe that if they were to slash that for 19.99 and basically say, yo, you will be okay. You will be okay as anybody that pays the 19.99, you'll be grandfathered in, right? And to Universal in the chat who's saying respectfully, actually, it's the reverse. Short term good, long term bad. No, my friend. No, my friend. I've been doing this for my God. I'm not tooting my own horn. I've been doing this since 2011 and I can tell you I worked in marketing, market research, organized focus groups and everything. I am a analytics nut. I can tell you history has shown, especially when you're operating in this fashion, no, you would like to believe short term good, long term bad. No, my friend. No. Because let me tell you something. We literally just talked about how the consumer budget is already stretched as it is. Make no mistake about it. In other countries outside of North America, it's business as usual for you guys as far as how you all are going to be able to consume your content. Because, not for nothing, internationally, there's still a WWE network that's in existence. Internationally, everybody is able to access NXT, all the WWE shows on Netflix, so they don't have to deal with this bullshit monopolization that's going on where they got to have 5, 10 different apps just to be able to keep up with the same wrestling promotion, right? So, to your point, no, this is actually bad because when you really take a step back and you think about it, especially here in North America, we're already dealing with high tariffs. We are dealing with eggs that now cost 6, 7 freaking dollars. Okay. Ground beef is at an all time high. People are not ordering like they used to. I'm going to be on the real with you guys. Even the gig economy, the gig driving economy, is not what it used to be. People that normally were able to make in a typical week $400, $500 a week, like actually in under a week, they're now finding that they've got to work twice as hard to try to get that amount. Because a lot of families, because of all the inflation that's going on, they're going, yeah, well, you know what? It was nice to eat out and everything, but instead, let's just go on ahead and we'll make more meals. I don't know about y'all's household in North America, but I know in the Sanders household, with all the craziness that's going on, if I'm not cooking during the week, my wife is cooking during the week. When my mother-in-law comes up for a visit and she hangs out with us for a couple of days, she's making meals. We're mainly making meals now. Out of a whole month, we're lucky these days if we decide to splurge maybe once or twice a month and we go, let's get some takeout, right? So you've already got a lot of households, a lot of households that are struggling as it is, especially dealing with these tariffs. Action figures that normally would cost 10, $15, you're now paying 20 to 30 something dollars. You feel where I'm coming from? So this is actually a bad deal immediately. Like for the first couple of quarters, it's bad. Until things really start financially stabilizing and we get those eggs back down from $7 going back down to $3. That's great that oil these days is about $3.19, give or take. But it don't mean shit if you're going to, Five Guys or insert whatever name, and you're paying ridiculous amount of money just for a drink, burger, and fries. All right. So unless WWE really takes a step back, WWE and ESPN, unless they take a step back and they go, look, maybe that 29.99 selling point, maybe we should kind of, and I do expect them. Just watch. I do expect them to trim that down a little bit. To Stussy in the chat, can I see them introducing a WWE tier where say it's $12, but you can only get the WWE library and PLEs? It depends. It depends. And that's not me trying to dodge your question. I think it depends. If they are able to see, make no mistake about it. WWE and ESPN, they've already thought about the logistics. They have already looked at, okay, where do we see things being by this quarter? And then what are we looking at by 6 months? And then what are we talking about by a year? They have definitely, make no mistake about it, they have definitely looked at enough analytical data from ESPN and what they've been able to do with ESPN Plus and all that over the years. There's definitely enough that's there that would suggest to them that, yeah, you know what, this is the expectation. It's kind of like, just think about your favorite movies or whatever. It's just like that. Okay, this movie was made off of a $72 million budget. And with all the buzz that's floating around, when we think about the marketing strategy and all of that, okay, yeah, the way this is looking, we should be able to break even opening weekend. And then by the next weekend, we should be able to double that. So then, yeah, so I truly believe that the data is there that suggests to WWE and ESPN it's going to be off to a rocky start, but that eventually it will go in the direction that it needs to go, right? So, yes, to was that Stumpy? Just trying to see who that was in the chat here. Stussy? Yeah, Stussy. I think it really depends on them introducing a WWE tier. Where $12 you can get. I think it really depends. I can tell you this much. I can definitely see WWE going, look, if you're willing to cough up that annual joint, I can see them giving you a nice little break, maybe save about $50 or something like that. If you do the yearly joint, I can see them doing that. I'm going to tell you guys, just like I told you when the WWE network was first announced back in 2014. I'm going to tell you just like I did when Peacock and WWE teamed up. I think longtime listeners know what I'm getting ready to say, right? Because I even echoed the sentiments, okay? Which is this: we're getting ready to go into the fourth quarter. And if you live here in North America, with everything that I just highlighted, now more than ever, when some of your family members ask you what you want for Christmas and all that, you need to say to them, honestly, give me a couple of gift cards. Y'all want to get ahead of this. Now, you got time to prepare because this isn't supposed to be going down with WWE switching over to this new ESPN streaming service not until first quarter of 2026. And I would imagine it's probably going to hit around February, maybe March. Make no mistake about it. WrestleMania 2026, it will be on, because they've already let that be known. WrestleMania 2026 will be on that new ESPN streaming service. So you definitely want to make sure that for the rest of this calendar year, going into next year, you have all your money together, right? Try to figure out what you can do. Ask your family and friends. I was like, what do you want for Christmas? Be like, hey, if you can give me some gift cards, that'd be nice. At least that way, you can try to be a couple of months ahead to buy yourself even more time to figure out what exactly, because look, it may not be for you. One thing I can tell you is piracy will definitely be more on the rise as a result of this. And I mean, a prime example of that, I remember, now I paid for this, but I remember Ozzy Osbourne just a couple of weeks ago, his final show. I wanted to see Ozzy. I wanted to see, everybody that was announced for performing, and it was a great show. But there were a lot of people that decided, yeah, as much as I want to pay, like I really can't afford this because my money is in all these other directions. I really can't do this. And a lot of people ended up going the piracy route. It was either a case where they were checking out somebody's Discord that was streaming the event, or they patiently waited until before the weekend was out. Somebody uploaded the entire concert, and then they're able to download it and have it in their respected, household and all that other stuff. So, it's kind of one of those deals where it's like, piracy will go up, but not in a way where WWE goes, God damn, right? I'm not saying that WWE and this new partnership, I'm not saying it's going to bomb out the gate. I'm not saying that. But the one thing that we all can agree on, there is a lot of oversaturation as it is. If anything surprises me about this deal, it's the fact that with everything that WWE has learned, I'm very surprised that they did not go in the direction of trying to do their own thing again and be in control of their own IP, be in control of their own prices, be in control of, you feel where I'm coming from? I just think back to how the messy relationship had went down between Netflix and Disney when it originally came to the first run of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Punisher, Luke Cage. I think about everything that had happened with all of those shows. And Netflix decided they wanted to go in a different direction because Disney, they basically, look, we kind of want a little bit, right? Go look that up. I don't want to get into the whole spiel because I remember when we covered it in real time, it was pretty messy how all of that went down. But Disney, when they were already getting the gears in motion to ultimately launch their own network and everything, and they've been doing for the most part pretty good in that. It was a bit bumpy, but they rebounded. I think quite a bit, particularly when it came to the pandemic. Definitely the analytics show that. But when all that stuff went down with Netflix and Disney ultimately going, okay, well, you know what? We'll just go do our own thing then. I mean, we were always planning to do our own thing. We learned what we needed to learn from Netflix and we learned what we needed to learn from other streaming platforms and everything. Let's go ahead and let's do our own thing. So, if anything's, I'm a little bit surprised at what all is. And Universal has been saying a lot in the chat. I definitely want to at least because this really should have been just an in and out. Last thing I want is for this to be like an hour type of thing because we've already been doing our thing for like about 34 minutes. Which, by the way, I have an interactive poll right now, and I'll poke my head in there and right now, and I'll see what you guys are saying. If you want to vote, actually, I'll buy you guys a little bit of time. YouTube.com/, the RCWR show. Click on the post section, and you guys can vote that way. For my Twitter audience, head on over to the RCWR show on Twitter, and it is the very most recent thing that I have posted. I'll buy you guys a little bit of time, and then we'll poke the head in there, see what's going on with the results and everything. Let's see here. So, what I'm gonna do, Universal, rather than respond to every single thing that you've posted so far, what I'll actually do instead, I'll just read off everything that you've put in there so far so I can get myself caught up to speed and everybody else caught up to speed. And then I'm just gonna lump my response to everything that you've been saying so far in just one big take. Universal goes, many people saying cable is dying. It is not. It is trending positively last few years. Streaming, in fact, is declining. And no, no, Universal, no, no. No, and just so people can see what Universal is talking about. For those of you that's watching the webcast stream, I will put that up for you. Nope, nope. Happy to say that again, in the 10 years that I had worked in marketing research, one of my favorite studies that I would always do, as I knew all things television, I knew all things cable and satellite providers. For the firm that I worked for many years, I was the go-to person when it came to cable, satellite, streaming services. And I can't tell you, I would speak to I would speak to respondents who not just lived in the DC, Maryland, Virginia metropolitan area, but I would also talk to respondents from out of state: California, Utah, North Carolina, South Carolina, Vermont, Texas, you name it. And many times for a lot of these studies, because I actually used to organize focus groups for companies such as NBC Universal. I would work with companies like Bethesda, the guys that's behind the video games and all that other good stuff. I would work with Discovery Communications. We would even work with HBO. And one of the things that was always a constant was the alarming number of people that were getting away from cable and satellite subscriptions. They decided that it was just too much. They didn't want to have anything to do with it because it was just, the prices were just ridiculous, and they didn't want to have anything to do. And I understood exactly what they were saying. Now, this wasn't a sample size where, okay, you've only spoken to like 50 people, and of the 50 people, 9 people basically said, yeah, we're cutting. No, I would speak to people, interview people in the hundreds, because normally the way some of our focus groups would work, a lot of the project managers, they would give us these studies, and we would have almost a month to be able to interview folks. And if we can get them through the first round, we do a follow-up, and then ultimately they would be invited to the focus group. A lot of times we would do remote focus groups where people would be able to participate via Zoom or whatnot. All right. So in regards to cable, many people saying cable is, yes, they are absolutely right, because many respondents that I have spoke to, friends and colleagues, a lot of people ended up cutting the cord because it's just ridiculous. Why pay the X amount of money? I know for the Sanders household back in the day, I know we were paying about almost close to $300 for TV, internet, and cable. And me and the wife were pulling our, and I barely have hair on my head as it is. I'm clean shaven these days, but at this point I'm pulling my beard going, yo, we can't keep paying this, heaven forbid. And I speak for a lot of North American households. Heaven forbid you're in a position where you're going, I got to take care of this because this is more important. And the next thing you know, that bundled package of a cable internet television, or sorry, cable internet phone. Next thing you know, that shit, now it's double. And if you don't drop whatever, they're gonna cut your service. No, no, to the contrary. I'll try not to do that again, but saying that, maybe many people saying cable is dying, it is not. A lot of people are getting away from that. So let's knock that right now. WWE Network failed. Netflix with WWE is failing. WWE had higher ratings within the USA on regular cable. See, here's the thing with, again, I'll keep going. I'll keep going. Because if I spend, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I'm going to try to group all of that together. Streaming is dying because of churn. Netflix platform is not profitable. The Netflix stock is the only thing that is profitable and keeping Netflix afloat. Keep this in mind. Endeavor is $4 billion in debt. WWE needs to make money and get out of debt. Public financial reports have reported that this year's WrestleMania was not only break even, which is very, very bad sign. WWE ratings are at an all-time low. WWE overall attendance are also at an all-time lows. WWE's ticket price. Nope, 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 nope. Universal, I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you because these are coming off more like personal opinions, and they kind of come off like attacks rather than stating facts. So like when you hit me, see, I speak for myself and I speak for everybody that just heard all you had to say. Show us the analytics. Because whatever you're sourcing, whatever you're citing, like you need to go, okay, look, Wall Street Journal, like nobody's saying you got to give us URLs, but you need to be like, yo, these are the credited sources because not for nothing, but we recently heard from WWE and their recent quarterly reports. I don't have that in front of me, but I would be more than happy to get in front of that and bring that up. No problem. The WWE Netflix partnership, you know, that is much like AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, I'm not making any excuse. I'm just stating facts. You know, at least with AEW, and when they're doing the shows on TNT and TBS, yeah, we know what's going on with the television viewership, but we don't have a firm take on what's happening with them on HBO Max. We don't know really definitively how that's looking. What's the breakdown for people that's watching the show on HBO Max? Or I'm sorry, now it's called what's it called now? I think it's called HBO Max again, right? Yeah. We don't know what's going on with how many people are watching via that app live and then how many people are watching it on demand and then factoring that in to the overall viewership. That's still a little sketchy. This WWE Netflix thing, yeah, I remember seeing kind of the same reports that a lot of you guys had saw some months back where people were saying something. I think there was like some type of analytics that was out there that was saying something along the lines of, okay, look, this is what was going on, and it's a little bit, it could be a little better, but it's still like we saw real quick with WWE. They lost that number one, two, three spot on Netflix, like real quick or whatever. But they're still touting numbers. They just did a quarter report where they were doing some serious boosting, and guess what? It's a publicly traded company and all that, so they can't really finagle and hey, because it's gonna come back to essentially bite them in the ass and all that, right? I just want to see if there's anything else I need to dissect here from Universal here. Let's see. WWE ratings are at all time. See, stuff like that, you got to be more specific. Are you just talking about the Netflix Raw? Are you talking about that? Because we just literally came fresh off of SummerSlam, where the gate for SummerSlam, Rick and everybody else, wasn't it like announced at 112,000 plus something? 112,000 plus something, which was a first a first SummerSlam blockbuster gate or whatever like that. A lot of WWE events are continuing to be sold out and all that other shit, all that craziness. So Universal, with all due respect, you got to come at us with, okay, these are the analytics, like from da 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 da. Because so far with what you're mentioning is coming off more like a personal opinion and a personal attack, and rather than don't go off of what you've been hearing or your interpretation, actually go off of what the data suggests. All right, let's see what else we got here. Shout out to VS. I got you right here in the chat display saying, so then WWE not available on Netflix in India. I don't know what's going on in India. That is you need to look on Google, YouTube, ask your favorite AI app. I don't know what's going on. Last I heard internationally, you guys should be, it should be business as usual for you guys. it should be business as usual for you guys. So let's see. Stussy, I'm disappointed with the change, but if they're starting with the Rumble, I'll be there. At least build up my credit with this. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to look at it. That's a good way to look at it. I mean seriously. And as I always like to say, without getting too much into the weed of things, when it's all said and done, let's be for real with each other, to Universal and everybody else. Look, we can go over the nitty gritty of numbers that would show. I mean, for Christ's sake, I can show you a crime stat report that would suggest definitely that crime is on the rise here in the nation's capital of Washington, D.C. I can show you from gunshot victims to stabbings to carjackings to you name it. And at the same time, there could be another report that comes out that same day countering what I just said. And it goes, well, not for nothing, but actually, gunshot victims, that's down 14%. Murders is down 10%. Carjackings is actually down 30%. Right? Let's get down to the heart of the matter. If you got the funds and you love what you love, you're going to support it regardless. We have shown that it don't matter what country you're in. When you like something, when you fuck with something, your favorite musician, your favorite artist, your favorite athlete, your favorite entertainer, your favorite promotion, be it AEW, WWE, TNA, or your local indie fed. When you fuck with them, you're going to do whatever to keep supporting them. And make no mistake about it. I mean, WWE has been around since how long? Some decades, right? Like 70 something years at this point when you go way back to the WWF days or whatnot. Uh, they not going anywhere. They going to continue to be here long after you and me are dead. They going to continue to do their thing. We may not like this, but they're going to continue to make that money. They're going to continue to get them partnerships somehow, all that good stuff. Shout out to longtime listener Rick. Rick, who says, if one don't want to pay for the PLEs on the new ESPN app, get a VPN and do Netflix. Rick, you hit it dead on the money, my friend. You hit it dead on the money. Now more than ever. I can't tell you, and I don't want to name drop, but I can't tell you how many of my friends in the podcasting world, they have heard me, mention certain things, and I'm having private conversations with them, and they go, Lee, just get a VPN, man. I'm like, really? Yeah, just get a VPN. You can enjoy all you want to enjoy with Netflix under one roof. You don't have to keep dealing with different apps. Just get a VPN. Just get a VPN. VPN, do your Netflix, you're good. Well, what about the pay-per-views? Pay-per-views, push come to shove, you can always hop in somebody's Discord or you can find some streaming website that's out there. You'll be all right. And yeah, believe it or not, folks, in 2025, that's still a deal. That is still a deal. That is still a thing where people are still going out there. Shout out to them. Shout out to the brave, the bold, the few that will stream whatever wrestling event and all that out there. So let's see what else here. Let's see here. Yes, but I do believe in that VPN. I do believe in that. Let's go to the polls now. See what you guys had to say here. All right, looking at the YouTube poll first. The question for today, and we'll circle back to this in a couple of days. So I'm seeing a 50-50 tie right now. 50-50 tie right now. Asking if you guys are going to be paying the new $29.99 price tag. 50% of you said yes. 50% of you said hell no. LPH, do I think this deal will help Disney or it will lose them money in the long run? Well, one thing that I find that's pretty telling, LP, I'll call you LP from here on out. One thing that I find that's very very hey LP long play. Let me find out you like the vinyl there. But no, one thing that I find very interesting is the fact that WWE virtually got the same damn deal with ESPN because with Peacock it was basically a 5-year deal for 1.6 billion, and the fact that WWE literally has the same deal with ESPN, I find that to be a telling tale. Now, I don't mind taking the time out for the rest of this week. And then when we come back, maybe on Monday's RCWR show, live after Raw goes off the air, I don't mind finding and crunching numbers and letting you guys know what I had found out definitively. And, we could talk about it more, and we can definitely look at, because not for nothing, I wanted to talk about it anyway, but I did want to go over WWE's latest earnings report. I did want to go through that and everything. But I do find it interesting that WWE has brokered this deal with Disney, and it's for the same amount of money. Virtually, it's like the same amount of money. So if I take a step back, I can't help but go, hmm. So what? And I'm asking these questions, and I'm going to get the answer to them in the next couple of days. So what exactly was going on there with their deal with Peacock? Were they seeing an increase in subscriptions? More specifically because WWE was on there, and was it continuing to be at a steady rise, or was it a case where it was just kind of stable or whatnot? Was there anything of a significant decline? That's some of the things that I'm going to be looking for. Make no mistake about it, it sounds sexy as fuck to the ears to hear that WWE and ESPN. I mean, really stop and think about this. ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Okay, that's good bragging rights. That is good to be associated. That is fantastic. If you were to tell me 10, 15 years ago, Lee, ESPN is gonna have Pat McAfee, Shannon Sharp. Shannon, I can't wait to talk about your black ass. Lord have mercy. The shit that's gone down with Shannon Sharp. Talk about self-sabotage. But anyway, right? They did have Shannon Sharp. Now you've got the inside the NBA IP, right? So you're getting Chuck, Ernie, Kenny, Shaq. You're getting them. You're getting that IP. Okay? You've got this nice relationship with UFC. Now you're adding into the mix. Oh, let's not forget they've got the NFL, right? They've had the NFL for and they are very, very interested in doing everything they can within their power to eventually get the Super Bowl and everything. And now you're adding WWE into the mix. When you look at that from a PR marketing standpoint, from a branding standpoint, you can't help but kick back and go, God damn, that is a sexy portfolio. That you got all these things that is sexy. Like I want to be where the fun is, and obviously y'all, right? So definitely more eyeballs, more, and man, think about the crossovers that you're going to be able to tap into as well. Just think about that for a second. You're definitely going to be seeing more Stephen A, crossing over, more WWE superstars crossing over the First Take, all that good stuff. I could definitely see WWE maybe tapping into some of the ESPN personalities over there to help them out with some of their shows. What that means as far as the future of the Peter Rosenbergs and Sam Roberts, that remains to be seen. But ooh, we haven't even begun to scratch the surface on that one. We haven't even begun to scratch the surface on that one. Sharp is gonna say that Jay Uso is better than Stone Cold. Yeah, it'd be like, Shannon, what you smoking, dog? What you smoking? Let me see what you guys are saying over on Twitter real quick here. All right, let's see here. Twitter at the RCWR Show. Let's see what you guys are saying here. 100% of the votes that's coming in, you guys are saying, hell no, you are not going to be paying the $29.99 a month for all of that. So still pretty early, but we're definitely going to circle back in a couple of days and see how you guys are, where you guys are. I know this is probably a kind of shocking. I think it's going to take a little bit of time to kind of settle in and everything, but we hit upon some very interesting points just now. So I want to leave you with this because there's definitely some questions that now come to mind, some of which we've already highlighted, which is, I know some stuff was brought up about WWE attendance. Anybody that's actually taken a step back, checked out guys such as Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics, Mike Johnson of PW Insider. They do a really good job in collecting the analytics, letting you know, like, okay, this is what's going on. You also got great folks like WrestleTix. I haven't seen WrestleTix in a good minute. Usually WrestleTix is on my feed. Hopefully they're okay because I know I follow them, and for some weird reason, I haven't been seeing WrestleTix stuff as of late. So I need to find out what's going on. But those guys are usually pretty damn good at collecting ratings, viewership, all that kind of data. If you are an analytical person, you like numbers, you kind of like me, definitely go out of your way and check those guys out. But I'm going to do my homework, a little bit more additional homework between now and Monday's show. And I want to sit down with you guys after Raw goes off the air. I want to look at what's going on with this latest WWE quarters earning report. I also want to look at just the past 6 months, a year, whatever data that I can obtain. I definitely want to go over what has been happening exactly with WWE on Netflix, where that has been each quarter since they launched on Netflix. Because now we've got 8 months worth of data that's out there. We know how Netflix can kind of be because it's right. It's not traditional cable. You can't just go, well, according to TV by the numbers. It's not quite like that. So it'll be interesting to see what data is out there, but I'll definitely be able to share it with you. And then we can really definitively tackle whether or not this ESPN WWE deal, whether in the long haul, which I do believe in the long haul, they're going to get their money. They're going to make their money one way or another. Make no mistake about that. They're going to make their money. But with everything that's happening in North America, I do strongly believe, but we're going to let the data speak for itself. But just based on everything that I know from my years in marketing and market research, like usually with everything that I just highlighted, and you're trying to do this, like usually it's off to a rocky start. Here I was minding my own business, getting everything ready, trying to get some textbooks and all that. And I was trying to also upload a video. I had did some unveilings. So I think I might end up putting that out there still. Some fun stuff. So if you are a Fantastic Four fan and all that other cool stuff, there's some really cool shit that I had recorded behind the scenes. I think I might upload one video today, just kind of get you guys, right? Get you thinking about something else. Because I know for some people, numbers. Hey, if it's your first time here, you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe, all that good jazz. Because when you do that and you hit the like, really, really does a world of good for me and the content. So make sure you do that. Subscribe, all that jazz. Get at me all throughout social media using the keywords, the RCWR Show. We got episodes available for you guys as well, wherever you get your podcasts. Just use those same keywords. For those of you interested in my thoughts on this past Monday night's Raw, that is available. We got the webcast show on demand right now over on YouTube. Check it out. Got the audio version of it available for on demand and downloads as well for your consuming pleasure. Not only did we talk about WWE Raw, it was a fun show. We also looked at and really broke down what was going on with Seth Rollins and my take as far as him, WWE, and this faking of an injury angle. What else did we get into? Lot of in-depth stuff that we got into. We spent a good chunk of the show towards the end looking at the whole Brock Lesnar WWE return, linking that back, looping that back to the whole Janelle Grant situation. So we went all over the place on that show. So if you haven't checked that out yet, definitely do. And meanwhile, keep the discussion going. Are you down for this deal? Are you against it? What say you? Sound off. And until next go round, my pretty babies, wishing all of y'all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Take care.